Good morning, everyone. I'm Kendall Mead, the owner of Brandt Travel, and this is Coffee with Kendall. We are featuring Viking cruises today, and not just all of Viking cruises, but specifically going to take you on a journey on the Expedition. You're going to get to see why the Expedition ship is so amazing and explore the amazing places around the world where you can go. So stay tuned and enjoy this great presentation on Viking Expedition.
Thank you so much, Kendall. I appreciate it. Pleasure to be here, folks. Thank you so much for having us and tuning in to another Brandt Travel Coffee with Kendall. I'm excited. As Kendall said, I'm Eric Molina. I'm your Director of Business Development for the great state of Texas here for Viking. And yes, of course, it is Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026 and the beginning of wave season, which is ultimately one of the best times to book your next vacation, your next cruise experience, and hopefully specifically to Viking, right? Small ship experiences. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it, take things in a different direction to start the year here in 2026. Of course, we explore the world in comfort, all seven continents, but I wanted to kind of focus on expedition cruising. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now, and we'll move right into the presentation. And I think for many of you that have not seen what we're doing on the expedition product, I think you'll be very pleased to find that it is an experience that can be enjoyed even closer to home. So again, let me share my screen here and then go from there. So again, the world is the Viking as we know it. We're sailing to all seven continents. We're visiting now all five oceans. We started ocean cruising, like many of you know, 10 years ago. We celebrated our 10-year anniversary last year in 2015. So we are now sailing on the oceans of the world, 21 rivers. And as I mentioned, with our expedition product, we have the ability to say we sail to the Arctic, calling on the peninsula of Antarctica, as well as the Great Lakes here closer to home, and visiting again 85 plus countries, 500 ports of call plus, and then we are one Viking. So it's that consistency that we are delivering, regardless if you're with us on a river cruise, expedition sailing, or even an ocean cruise. It's the ability to step right on board and be extremely familiar with your surroundings, be very comfortable, the nuances and the details that we go into with regard to ship design, itinerary design, carefully curated itineraries for discerning travelers like yourselves. Of course, this is the river world of Viking where we kind of started. I should say where we did start and where we've kind of been the leader now for several years now, and started the company 28 years ago, sailing on the rivers of Russia, in fact, the Volga and the Moscow Canal, and then very quickly went over to cruising on the European rivers. And now I could speak for 3 hours just on how much we offer from a river cruise standpoint. And it's certainly the experience that put Viking on the map. And hopefully visually you've seen what that looks like, whether it's for some of you that are coming back to learn more about Viking, have experienced river cruising with us, maybe even a small ship experience with ocean. But for that being said, it really is, again, where we started. It's at the heart of what we do, and it has everything to do with where we sail and how we experience the destination. All of the wonderful things that you love about our ocean product and everything that we do comes from river cruising. It's the ability to spend more time within the port of call, within the destination, having something included for you on a daily basis. And on most of our river cruise itineraries, you are waking up in a different city every day. So we can't invent any new rivers. So you'll see that we've introduced a vast number of cruise land tours. in that 11 to 17 day fully guided extensions pre or post, also train experiences that have been incorporated, just like safari experiences have been incorporated with our ocean product. We are just offering some more robust, fully guided opportunities for you to stay longer, enjoy the destination further, and really be completely immersed into the country or countries that you're visiting. So it's again at the heart of what we do. It's that consistency that we deliver, that Viking standard. The readers of Condé Nast, the readers of Travel and Leisure continue to vote us year in and year out number one for rivers, number one for oceans, and we're already making headway with regard to expedition, and in some venues being named one of the top expedition products on the market. So again, it's moving forward, that one Viking, never resting until we are forever relentlessly pursuing the ability to deliver that Viking standard. And it truly is, it really truly is the heart of what we do. Our secret sauce are our folks on board. I call that, hand to heart, because they are the ones, those men and women on board are the ones that really deliver on the promises that we make here, whether it's in in my realm of working with Brandt Travel. They're going to be the experts and the liaison between you and Viking to kind of carefully put together exactly how you're looking to experience your destination. And then it's up to my folks on board to deliver on those expectations. So it's the art of delivering on unreasonable hospitality and anticipating your needs. For those of you that are past guests, we hope that you have said we've either met or exceeded their expectations. It's a very high customer satisfaction rating at Viking, and we truly, again, want to deliver that seamless ability to experience the destination in all of its glory. And it's destination focused, it's carefully curated, and it's completely an itinerary, or I should say, an idea that kind of just goes back to what we've always said. It's very much designed for quote unquote the thinking person. So we're a thinking person's cruise. We're small in design. We are your largest small ship provider in the world. We're destination focused, very much understated elegance. So you have those floor to ceiling glass window panes, natural colors throughout, very much a Scandinavian decor with a touch of Norwegian folkloric decor. So quiet and calm, tranquil, very much quiet vessels. We cater to no one under the age of 18. So we are adults only. And further to all that, we just don't pump a lot of announcements into the loudspeakers. We make announcements in one language, and that's English. So you don't have the same announcement being announced 4 or 5 times in different languages. And we really try to limit that. I know there's things that we have to do from a maritime perspective, law-wise, on ocean, but again, it's very, very quiet, very, very limited, and an all-inclusive style pricing. So it's our version of exploring the world in comfort. Again, eliminating some of the distractions, the no nickel and diming, no casinos, no art auctions, no photographers. And again, everybody on board is adult only across the board. It's that inclusive value. I mean, there's a ton of value built into the price point. I think you're in great hands when you work with Brandt Travel. They are experts in kind of assigning value to what you deem valuable. So we do include a lot. In fact, there's about $400 per couple per day that's built in. That's not something you have to pay additional for. That's already built into the price point with Viking. But again, I'll leave that to Brandt to be able to kind of pull that out. And, again, as a consumer myself, we all assign value to things that are included differently. So Wi-Fi might be really important to me. Maybe the wine, beer, and soft drinks at meals is important to some others, or bottled water in their stateroom, or shore excursions. something included for you on a daily basis from a Shorex standpoint. So your shore excursions or tours, there's something planned for you on a daily basis that's already included. Again, we all assign value differently, and we all want to experience the destination just a little bit differently. So again, the experts at Brandt Travel can walk you through that and really give you the peace of mind that you're not going to have to continue to be nickel and dimed, or it's a cruise line that gets you on board and then immediately turns you around and starts shaking you. So, not the case. Again, I talked about understated elegance, the light-filled public spaces. It's your signature Scandinavian design, and it's the amazing attention to detail from a design standpoint. And again, I mentioned my secret sauce. It's only the very best service guarantee that Viking offers. It's some of the most loyal staff in the industry, very diverse. We're very proud of that. And ultimately, really putting our best foot forward when it comes to delivering on the expectations that partners like Brandt Travel and you, from a past passenger aspect, at times completely demand of us. So we appreciate that. We appreciate if you've sailed on Viking prior. If this is a new opportunity or a new idea that you're exploring, I have to tell you, small ship experiences are highly addictive. In fact, I do travel quite a bit. And when I'm on a plane, I'm asked sometimes, what do I do for a living? And I love to always kid that I have the opportunity to sell a highly addictive product legally. So that's fantastic news that we have such great reviews, many past guests, and very, very much happy and satisfied with the exploration that we are able to offer to them of the destination of their choice. So we don't really talk too much about food, but I have to tell you, the flavors of the destination are really key. It's going to have everything to do with where you're sailing with Viking. So it's fresh fare, culinary traditions. You have hand-picked wine selections and tastings, and we do have some of the most al fresco dining options on any given vessel with regard to ocean and river. Specifically, river, with regard to the Aquavit Terrace, and then you have quite a bit of al fresco dining with ocean as well. The way they were constructed, being able to enjoy a lighter version of what's going on in the main restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then just all the choices that you have when you sail with Viking on the ocean as far as dining options, all with no additional charge, whether they're the alternate restaurants like Manfredi's or the chef's restaurant, or just kind of hidden areas, or just areas that you can grab a quick bite, or different type of eatery like your pool grill, your World Cafe, even the Winter Garden with our formal tea time that we do on a daily basis. And then the 24-hour room service if you never want to even leave your room. So you have those choices. They're built in. There's no additional fee. And again, going back to that attention to detail, folks love to poke a lot of fun with regard to this slide, but I have to always mention it. We don't like to have you waste any bandwidth as far as trying to figure out how to open a toiletry product, because they're easy to open, they're color coded, and they are in a font that's readable without your readers in the shower. So we always kid about that, but it's the truth. It's the attention to detail that we put into things like the remote control. As you see here, it's very, very, very self-explanatory. You have, I think less than 10 buttons on the remote. You don't have to bring your grandchild to figure out how to even turn the TV on. So again, attention to detail, square trash cans, a lot of these small little things that we lose sleep over. Folks poke fun of us about it, but I think, again, if we worry about the little things, we certainly worry about the big things. So onboard enrichment is a lot of what we do, whether it's the guest lectures, the resident historians, the port talks, all the destination type performances. Of course, very much a folkloric type entertainment on board the river, smaller spaces, and then full production shows on our ocean sailings. And then you have your craft demonstrations, wine tastings, of course, also your daily briefings that kind of get you ready on the next port of call, and also review the day of what you have spent or where you have spent the day prior, and also where you may be visiting next. So, onshore experiences, I mean, of course, they are designed to take you closer. It's the Viking way of exploration, whether it's local life, working world, or privileged access. It's kind of the iconic offerings, the ability to really get into the heart of the destination, experience it the way you may be inclined to do so. Maybe you're into architecture, maybe you're into food and wine, maybe you're into historical relevance. Again, all of those are possibilities. Again, including something on a daily basis, but also offering you a slew of optional tours and excursions so that you can really curate your itinerary with the help of Brandt Travel on how exactly you want to spend your time on the Rhine, on the Danube, in southern France, Southeast Asia, on the Nile. Again, the list goes on and on, but it gives you the idea that we really truly want to focus on what we feel and deem extremely important, and that's maximizing your time within the destination. So you're able to experience it, really touch, taste, smell, feel what it's like to again sample the local cuisine, learn about the historical relevance of the town and the village, and why it's important, why it's significant. We do that by partnering with a ton of museums, even things like UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And it's just, again, it's your destination focused approach with the greater selection of choices and options for you to have the ability to do that. Um, so let's talk about expedition. I've kind of been around the bush about talking so much about expedition. Just as a standalone presentation, I think that it certainly has landed for Viking. This is something that we announced 6 years ago now. I guess perfect timing in 2020 in January. But all kidding aside, we're going into our fourth sail season now with the Viking Octanus and the Viking Polaris. So these are sister ships. I feel like it's like nothing we've ever done at Viking. They are sister ships. They are polar class six ships, just under 380 guests, and really meant for exploration, but still in the likeness of what we've done prior. So, the best elements of your river cruise experience, the best elements of your ocean cruise design, and just a different take on that from it really truly being a living, breathing group science project. And keep in mind that we have scientists on board. They are conducting research with regard to the wildlife, the weather. And as you move through an itinerary, whether it's the Great Lakes, the Arctic, calling on the peninsula of Antarctica, being down south, you are collecting data. Folks are publishing white papers with regard to the scientists on board. We are discovering sometimes at times new penguin colonies. We launch a weather balloon on every single sailing. So again, it is really like every sailing is like a classroom group project, because you can really participate as much as you'd like in the process. And I think where we really lend ourselves to that experience is how we design the aula, of course, being modeled after the theater there of the there in Oslo University, where the Nobel Prize used to be awarded. So we took a lot of those elements and put them into the aula, which is our theater we use for lectures, learning. This is where we'll do our daily briefing. Then we also have our labs and observatory, and really where everything is kind of notated, and the lines are dotted, and everything's crossed off there, and everybody has access to really the experts on board, not just the scientists, but you also have your experts in certain fields that are of interest based on where we're sailing with this expedition ship. So you can have one-on-one small group conversations with these experts, and then ultimately participate as much as you'd like with the scientific research that's going on. So these folks also don't have to wait for any sort of funding, because thanks to Viking and thanks to you all, the folks that have sailed with us on expedition and continue to sail with us, everybody's ticket, there's a portion of that ticket that goes to the actual scientific research for our expedition cruises. So again, make no mistake, this is true research, and this is data that we are collecting every time we're in the Great Lakes, on every single one of the itineraries from north to south. And you get a better idea of what the owl looks like, what it's used for, and that classroom type experience. And hopefully this video will work, but you get the idea of how we utilize this and how it can be used. You have that screen that kind of completely comes up, and then you have these beautiful almost accordion doors that kind of open up to the Finza Terrace, that give you the view of the terrace, which you also have access to by exiting the doors to the left and the right. Gives you access to the lava pits and the Finza Terrace. Just an exceptional way to see the destination. So I hope that worked a little bit. That gives you an idea of what that looks and feels like, keeping you warm from the elements. And we understand that. Look, half the cabin doesn't want to be there. Based on our research, we understand that. He or her is only there because he or her, or he or him. Sorry, she. Start over here. We understand that only half the cabin wants to be there. I say that it's because they're only there because they are making me come, right? Whether it's he or her, they've asked them to come. They're there in support of whether it's a spouse, significant other, um, cousin, friend, mom, whatever the case may be. Half the cabin doesn't want to be there, is my point. And they've never been a believer in maybe expedition or pursuing the, I guess, happiness of getting ice time, or calling on the seventh continent, or chasing, going into the Arctic Circle. So, with that being said, we've made the ship extremely comfortable, very interesting, and with that thought in mind, that we really have about 40 to 45, almost 50% of the ship, didn't really want to be there at first. So we've introduced the elements that folks have become accustomed to us having with regard to the comfort, and then also I think the hands-on demonstration, the ability to kind of participate even without having to leave the ship if they never want that ice time. They never want to kind of expose themselves to any of the cool toys that we have on board. So just like Ocean, we have room for a spa. We have room for a gym, all accessible at no cost. Uh, Tons of spaces to conversate in small groups, speak to, again, the learning that's going on board, places to mingle, play games, lots of library nooks. Of course, what Viking's known for, tranquil, serene spaces that just really speak to being comfortable. So this is a viewing area. You're kind of sheltered from The elements here kind of sunken down. If you have a little bit of rougher waters, you can certainly still catch a view here at the bow of the vessel. Again, heated, very comfortable, and also some you can hear some commentary as well with the speakers. But yeah, access to the bow there, but also kind of sheltered if you want to go into that shelter. But these are the views. These are the stunning areas of the expedition vessels. Here's your your kind of your aquavit flowing, what flows into the terrace, and and then also those pools that are your hydrotherapy pools in the spa. Still live Nordic spa, still accessible for everyone, not paying any sort of reservation fees or anything like that to access the spa, whether it's the dry sauna, the wet sauna, uh, the snow room, all of that good stuff, still accessible. And then you have a couple different options based on temperature here with the infinity type pools that are surrounded by the deck there. So you kind of get the idea. Again, you have Expedition Central because, as I mentioned, it really truly feels that every cruise is almost like a class project in science class that's going on, and all of that research can be discussed on a smaller scale. As you see here, we have some desks set up. You have hours that these experts take, not just the scientists, but other experts in their specific fields based on where we're sailing. You may have folks that are experts in the wildlife or in the shipwrecks in the Great Lakes or on, specific temperatures based on the weather that we are going to be experiencing in the Arctic. So yes, those are conversations that can be had as much as you'd like, and all that research and all of that correspondence that's being collected kind of comes into Expedition Central, and it can be discussed amongst the entire ship, right? So it's kind of where it all takes place. Very, very cool looking down from where you enter the ship, kind of looking down into what I like to call the locker room, the expedition locker room, access to, again, the hangar is where we house all the toys. The hangar is really cool because it kind of shelters you from the elements. This is where you would have, accessibility and where we launch our zodiacs, right? And our ribs. This is where they're stored, and the rib will use the slip away there. And the rib is for really folks that want to experience, have that experience, but not necessarily make a zodiac landing, or maybe they're not able to make a zodiac landing. So you have those ribs. That's what you see on the conveyor belt there, and then you have your military grade zodiacs. You have your sea kayaks. And then, what's really cool is that 12-seater special operation boats, which are just very, very neat from an aspect of being extremely comfortable and being able to walk right on to and not be faced with the elements or those challenges. Then you have the the two six-seater submarines. They're submersibles. They're the yellow submarines, two on each ship. And yes, they're named after the Beatles. And you guessed it, we put John and we put John and Paul on the same ship. So there you go. Um, hopefully keeping the peace there. But anyway, yes, yellow submarines, two on each. As you see the way the rib kind of makes its way off the slip there, and you're able to step right on to the that military grade special operation boats, and you see kind of in the next slide the way that looks when you're loading onto that. So a little bit easier, less cumbersome than maybe trying to make get into a Zodiac, for example. And it kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like and the touring that we do with those special operation boats. Really neat. Again, all the scientific research that happens on board, it's extremely hands-on. You can learn as much as you love and or not, right? So it's definitely your choice because there's tons of comfortable spaces, places to really get away, especially uh, you know, like your cabin, the staterooms are built with the utmost detail and comfort in mind, and you have that ability to really get up and close and personal with the destination with the Nordic balcony staterooms that are just over 200 square feet, and then you have your wonderful heated floors and still those breakaway showers. So all still much of the same that you're used to with the ocean staterooms, right? So and then we just kind of get a little bit bigger, right, with the Nordic penthouse kind of room for entertainment there with the not a true two-room suite, but more square footage, just under 330 square feet here, and then of course your Explorer suites that range, I believe, just under 600 square feet with your and those are true two-room suites, and then of course the owner suite, so which is just under 1,250 square feet with its own little sauna. So very, very neat stuff. I think, one of the nicest things is we're always, keeping comfort in mind. So everybody has a drying closet within their wardrobe there. So they have the ability to put anything that may have got wet when they were doing their ice time. And, they have the ability to dry, whether it's their pants, their jacket, and all that good stuff. So you do have that drying closet that you have access to. The Arctic was an absolute smashing hit this past year. It was much more regarded than many of you know itineraries doing their first sail season. So we did extremely well with the Arctic. I mean, especially with this 27-day itinerary. Of course, not everybody can be gone 27 days, but we do have some 8-day, 7-night variations, and then also 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then, of course, the Canada and Northwest Passage. It makes more sense when I get to the map here. You get an idea of how intricate and how much you do experience in the Arctic Circle. And in Canada, of course, in and around Newfoundland and into the St. Lawrence River, all the way into Toronto onto Lake Ontario. So keep in mind, we do everything from Milwaukee all the way down and around to Santiago, Chile, and we also go from the Arctic all the way to the peninsula of Antarctica. So very, very neat stuff. Another one of my really popular expedition sailings is going to be the Canadian Discovery, your New York to Toronto experience. So you will visit Halifax, really working your way up and around Nova Scotia, through the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and then having the ability to sail all the way through that St. Lawrence River into Toronto onto Lake Ontario. And then our most popular expedition sailing, believe it or not, is our 8-day, 7-night Toronto to Milwaukee. So onto Lake Ontario, through the Welland Canal, by the Niagara Falls, into Point Pelee. We've done an amazing job with pouring a tremendous amount of resources into the docking space there in Detroit. And we have an amazing relationship with the Ford Museum. So stop in Detroit, up and around the great state of Michigan, and with the stop in Alpena and Mackinac Island, which is just frozen in time and just amazing from a perspective of historical value, and Traverse City and into Milwaukee. And for the first time this year, we'll be calling on the city of Chicago as well. And then we just do some 8-day, 7-night variations from Milwaukee to Thunder Bay and Thunder Bay to Milwaukee. So again, we have itineraries that are 92, 96 days plus with expedition, and then as short as 8 days, 7 nights. So I hope you've enjoyed kind of a nice, more in-depth glimpse of what we're doing with expedition cruising. I've been asked where we may go next. I think if there is the ability for a Polar Class 6 ship in that small ship classification, These have been built to the utmost standards from a green technology standpoint. They hover in the areas that we cannot and will not drop anchor to protect the environment. So, sky's the limit for expedition with Viking. So, I think we're just scratching the surface. We're just getting started. If you would have told me 6 years ago we'd be doing so much successful cruising on the Great Lakes, I would have told you there was no way. But it's going extremely well. It adds to our choices and options for closer to home, right? So now with your Great Lake cruising, you also have the wonderful Mississippi River cruising that does everything from St. Paul to New Orleans. And then I have over 30 plus itineraries on ocean cruising that either start or end in North America. And most notably, we just won Best Alaska Cruise with our ocean sailing that does an inside passage Alaska cruise and goes from Vancouver to Seward and does an 11-day itinerary and sails in the inside passage. So, very, very pleased with how things are progressing. And we hope that you'll experience one of our most popular itineraries. And on River, that's going to be your two-time winner now, back-to-back most highest reviewed product across the board has been sailing on the Nile. So Nile River cruising is extremely popular. Your 2 week experiences on the Mediterranean, and then also visiting the British Isles and Australia and New Zealand, very, very popular with ocean. So we continue to explore new destinations, and we hope that we've shed some light on what to expect with Viking on an expedition cruise, and whether it's closer to home or very, very, very far away. We hope that you will reach out to Brandt Travel as they are the experts. And I have to tell you, it is wave season. And, Kendall might shake her head when she sees what I'm about to do, but this is, the amount of mail that I have received. I mean, this is just Viking. I mean, I got 6 or 7 different variations of bookings. I don't know if of books, if you can see that. And I even got a letter. So, of course, it's a little bit of an exaggeration. I'm an employee, so I'm seated, so I get every single type of brochure. But I have to tell you, it's confusing sometimes when you get all of these books in the mail, right? It never ends. And then, especially when other suppliers send you a ton of books. But I can assure you, the very best way to sort all of that maybe confusion in the marketplace is to reach out to your Brandt Travel advisor. They are there to sort any and all promotions for you. You're leaving money on the table when you don't utilize them. You cannot and will not get a better deal by calling us directly. So I will leave that with you. I will tell you this: we are in the middle of wave season, as I mentioned. And what that means is that we're kind of closing out with whatever's left in 2026. We are already currently selling well into 2027. You have many products already open for 2028. And I know, hold your shorts. By the end of summer, early fall, I most likely will have some itineraries already open for 2029. So let the good folks at Brandt Travel sort you out. Let's see if we can take advantage of the current offer for the next 2 weeks. If anybody can deposit a reservation within the next 2 weeks, I'm throwing in some onboard credit in addition to whatever Brandt Travel's offering. And then that's all on top of the very best promotion that is available for the specific itinerary and sailing that you're looking to confirm. So, with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to my friend, the one, the only, Kendall Mead with Brandt Travel. Thank you so much, folks, again for having me, and have an amazing day and enjoy the rest of your week. Kendall, tell them what they've won.
Wow, thank you so much, Eric. That was a great presentation. You even shared some special spaces on board that I hadn't seen before. So, really good imagery. So, as Eric said, if you are interested in booking one of these amazing expedition sailings or a different Viking itinerary, please contact our team. We are certified Viking experts. We are one of the top producers of Viking in the United States, and we know the ins and outs. We have access to all those amazing promotions that you receive in the mail and some that you might not even know about. If you book with us this month of February, we are giving you a $400 onboard credit. If you are a past guest of Viking, please reach out. There is a bonus savings for your past traveler. And if you're new to Viking, please reach out as well. We have a lot of information to share with you, and we will get you taken care of. So thank you again for joining us. Bye for now.